So this is the customary 10K chit-chat Q&A that nobody really asked for. It's got Rings of Power questions, questions about personal life, some bloody weird questions too. Also, along the way, I'll make fun of you, so win-win for everybody. Let's make this a regular thing. Yay!
We're gonna hang out, gonna watch a movie, gonna take some pictures.
Oh, and also this is a badass game called Unreal Tournament. It's kind of like Fortnite, but without the pansy dancing, and a heck of a lot more splattering of human organs everywhere. So Bobby asks, kill, marry, Sauron, Adar, Isildur's horse. And we're off to a flying start there, Bobby, asking the questions that people really want to know. Okay, so this one's an easy one for me. I'd kill Adar. My boy doesn't need to be anywhere near this shit show. I'd give him, as the gladiator says,
at least give me a clean death. A soldier's death.
The frost sometimes it makes the blade stick. I'd like literally put him out of his misery. The dude needs to be nowhere near a show like this. I'd obviously marry Beric. He's a stand-up guy, can carry the shopping in one go, runs fast, has a huge cock, looks for you if you go missing, awesome actor. Yeah, what? I said he has a huge heart. So that leaves banging Sauron. I think the problem many people have is knowing if the other person came. Has cometh, has the penis cometh. Yeah, I don't know what the tense of that is. Thankfully, the showrunners make this easier for Sauron by having motion graphics over him, like the Mordor reveal that tells you if he did come. So you don't have that awkward post-banging chit-chat like, was it good for you? Did you arrive on aisle 69 or whatever you kids call it now? Sauron would just reveal the words over his face. So Will, the digits on my credit card are 666. My mum's maiden name, don't you talk about my mum like that, all right? She ain't no maid. Okay, so why did I start making this channel? Well, I've made a few over the years, and this is the one that I'd say I'm really passionate about because I freaking love movies. I've always had a bit of a dry, dark sense of humor, and I wanted to kind of bring that to the movie recap, review kind of genre. I still can't fully decide if I want to do more serious video analysis with a little bit of humor, or go down the fully ripping the crap out of movies and making my own alternative narratives like I kind of did for the Rings of Power episodes. I'm, I guess, kind of still trying to work out what fits for me and what I enjoy the most, and I'm going to try and do a mixture of both and then kind of see what feels right. But I have to say, I do enjoy the writing of both types of scripts. One is very cerebral and a lot of research based. The other one is more wordplay, putting puns, movie references that just like the one guy in Alaska gets because he's got a girlfriend as a moose, no, like an actual moose, and they mate once a year. So he's plenty of time on his hands. No offense, Alaskans, I do love the place and would love to visit one day. Even like the movie Into the Wild made me want to go out there one day. You know, die a lonely death in an abandoned bus, maybe in a post-apocalyptic future, who knows. But yeah, just maybe not during the moose mating season. And so yeah, Rings of Power was the push I needed, and it's just been amazing since then. Perhaps two statements that should never be put together in a sentence ever again. But says, wait, I thought the films were crappy, not the fans. I think you'll find the films are crappy, the fans are also crappy, we are all crappy, my name is crappy. My overriding philosophy is the world is a bit crappy. Next question. Rafi D says, did Galadriel put her feet on your sword? Tell us. So Rafi, for legal reasons, me and Mr. Tarantino cannot actually comment on this until full investigation has been carried out by the authorities. Having said that, she did exactly what Mr. Tarantino wrote for her in the script. Feet are like highly symbolic in his films, and that is the main reason it features. Definitely not because we both have a raging foot fetish or anything absurd like that. Thank you for asking though. Map, backwards N, backwards R, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce the rest of that, says, what are your favorite works of cinematography and what do you look for in this kind of work? I'd say hands down the film Samurai Cop made in the 80s. I think their cult-like belief that the sun should be the only form of lighting in a movie is just incredible. I actually do love the film, and I'll probably be doing one of my next recaps on this film. Here's an amazing scene just to kind of whet your appetite.
Would you like to go out with me?
Yes, I would.
Would you like to fuck me?
Just exactly what would interest you? Something the size of a jumbo jet?
I also love the cinematography in Battlefield Earth, one of the truly best sci-fi films of my generation. They made Earth look so unappealing, so drab, that even the aliens were like, no, you take it. No, you, what should we do with it? Let's just frickin' burn it down and destroy all. And of course, Batman and Robin, it kind of made me feel I was having a fever dream and I was in a nightclub for children or something, with costumes that had nipples that were just oddly inappropriate for the setting. But yes, of course, incredible cinematography. In all seriousness though, I would say for sci-fi, it would be Blade Runner, the original, of course. The atmosphere, lighting, everything about that film is perfect. And that film has been a huge influence on so much of sci-fi since then. Also, Alien gets a mention for me because the cinematography is just out of this world. You know, because it's like a space film and shit. See what I did there? Moving on swiftly. And I mainly look for something that immerses me in the world that they've created. Something that's been done with painstaking attention to detail and practical effects rather than like flashy, glowy, Marvel-like CGI. In terms of westerns, I would say Dances with Wolves has the best cinematography. Gangster flicks, it will be Godfather or Road to Perdition, although Road to Perdition, I think just edges it for me. That scene with his boss in the rain, I think is just incredible. I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but if you haven't seen it, please, please, please watch it. In terms of war films, it will be Shaving Ryan's Privates. It's such a tense film. Will the ballsack get get in the shaver? Will he lose a testicle? You're on the edge of your seat every single moment. So Clifford says, apparently there's a rumor going around that Amazon's going to reboot Rings of Power and act like season 1 actually never happened. So look, Clifford the big red dog, the only thing that can possibly make this okay is if they actually use one of those flashy things from Men in Black and completely erase the entire collective memory of the world, and then give all the rights to somebody that actually gives a shit, and maybe get Peter Jackson on board and give him all the time he needs and the resources he needs, and maybe don't stand over him while he takes a dump telling him he's taking too long, like they did in the Hobbit movies. And maybe, just maybe, it could be acceptable, but even then, probably not. Silver says, well, dude, how many rock stars did you chug before making this? Drone says, what special chemicals did enable you to talk so rapidly? Is it elven medicine? Good thinking, Silver and Drones. I also had to Google to see if rock stars are actually a kind of energy drink or if he's tickling my ego. Either way, I think it's my genetics and being dropped on the head multiple times, plus some energy drinks, divided by ADHD and multiplied by Asperger's, you know, the thing you get when you've got poor hygiene up. Dingleberries, that's the one. All to the power of dick dyslexia, where my penis likes to listen to audiobooks rather than read. All in all, yes, to answer your question, I have some coke before I start my recordings. Next. Frank says, I've got a question for you. How many times have you been to rehab, and how will this time be any different? Thank you, Frank, with a CK. Guess your parents wanted you to be special and everyone to get the spelling wrong. Oh, and absolutely hate you. Oh, isn't that sweet? Nah, just kidding. My name's got a weird spelling, so yeah, I feel you, bro. So I've been to sarcasm rehab thrice. Each time I'm told that the internet people can't tell sarcasm. To stop doing it, it's hurting Americans' brains. Then I go back to reoffending again. I think it's our entertainment system. It's created for reoffending. You see, I think at the moment it's far too woke. It's piss poor corporate pandering. I personally see a future full of satire and sarcasm. To have any real powerful social commentary without being censored, it has to be done within the lines, not on the lines. Wow, that was deep. That was just me Kanye Westing with you there. Joseph says, note to wife, you'll put up the shelves next weekend. I have a feeling that next weekend may never come for your poor shelf. Thank you, Joseph, for the faith you show in me. Again, it's fantastic to have the support of this community behind me. I've also told her that we'll have an elf on the shelf, but the small print did not stipulate it was going to be this Christmas. That's another common W for me and disappointment for her. Not for the first time, and probably not for the last time either. So Pedro says, do you know why a banana bends and a pumpkin doesn't? The banana wants to peel around the corner and the pumpkin is never curious. I have to say, I've never been so aroused when someone is talking dirty to me. By the way, this makes more sense than the boaty stay floaty, looky uppy, stony sinky, looky downy. Thanks, Rings of Power, for another gem. Sanin asks a valid question about Numenor's GPS capabilities, how they located the orcs and went straight to battle there. But you're wrong on this one, my friend. The writers actually did explain this really thoroughly. It was kind of a genius move by them. They used Waze. Their real-time Middle-earth info transfer system allowed the Sunderlanders to tell them exactly where the orcs were, exactly where the defense positions were, and the police vans. It was so handy, and I'm sure Sauron was definitely not stealing all of the data at the same time and actually mapping out your lives. Phil says, anybody else fancy the blonde chick from Xena? Me neither. Phil, you creep. Don't tell the internet that. Her name was actually Gabrielle, okay? Gabrielle. I remember her. Anyway, just a random question for you all. Did anyone else get their first boner watching Gabrielle because Xena was a bit too Amazonian for them? Then carefully planned their first fappening by waiting for the rents to go upstairs to sleep, putting on scented candles, covering all the family photos because you didn't want their faces to judge you, and then putting on some romantic jazz music at the same time? No, me neither. Just checking with you all. Kaiman says, where'd you get all your movie references? All of my movie references come from my brain, which I thankfully grew myself. I watch a shit ton of movies, and apart from gaming and making sarcastic comments is my favorite pastime. Patrick, spelt the normal way, says, if everyone in the world is retarded, am I actually retarded one? That's a very deep question there, Patrick. Quoting my favorite Oscar-winning film, The Shawshank Redemption, stupid is what stupid does, my friend. So yeah, probably, mate. Sorry to break it to you. But better it came from a total stranger than a friend, right? And just when you thought we were getting to the end, my boy Vakari comes out with this and this. So you're either performing a job interview, my friend, or going to eat my liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti. I actually thought as a kid they said candy, and I thought, wow, that's a weird combination of fava beans and candy. This guy is a freaking psychopath. And yeah, why was I watching films like that as a kid? I don't know. Also kind of feels like you're void confing me, questioning me to see if I'm a replicant. Nice try. Saw right through this. But anyway, let's jump in. So what movies do I like that aren't top rated? I'd say it's probably Dumb and Dumber, Mr. Bean movie, the one who goes to America and fucks up the painting, Con Air, and I would say Adam Sandler's Golden Years, you know, the Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison. Oh, and Starship Troopers. I actually watched that recently, and it is an incredible satirical piss take of America. And yeah, I used to love that as a kid. Would you ever act in a show, or have you ever acted in a show? Well, my acting career tragically ended in primary school, so like when I was age 6 or 7. There's some crappy play. I was supposed to be like a witch or something, Macbeth, I don't know, whatever. So we were basically running late. We got to the backstage part, and the parents had all trickled into the hall. The hall was filling up, loads of people. And then I realized, shit bags, I'm supposed to change into this witch outfit from my uniform. And that day I've actually forgotten to wear underwear. So I kind of low-key go up to my teacher, Mrs. Manning, and I'm like, yo, really sorry to to tell you this, but I've actually forgotten to wear my underwear today, hoping that I'd get like a kind, compassionate answer. But she just shouted out, what do you mean you've forgotten to wear your underwear today? Loud enough that over the murmurs, everyone thought this was the opening line of Macbeth. So yeah, that was in front of the whole year group, the parents, and probably a pedo or two in the crowd. So acting jobs obviously dried up after that. Would you or have you done any voiceover work? So yeah, I did like a comedy meditation channel called Zen Thug a couple of years ago. The premise was I would start off like any other meditation video, but soon I'd break into just honestly telling you how shitty your day has been, how shitty your life is, and how you hate your boss, that kind of stuff. I think I even had like specific ones for like bad neighbors or like how to deal with shitty co-workers. I think the latest one I did was something like how to deal with living in a nuclear bunker in 2023.
Your thoughts are moving further and further away as you focus on the crisp sound of a waterfall. Distant yet near, soft and trickling, weaving through stone, gentle yet calm. You quickly realize it's just Jerry urinating on the wall. Relax all the muscles in your legs.
I should get back to doing those actually, because it was good fun. So anyway, if any of you are interested in that kind of weird meditation videos, then I'll put a link in the description. Let me know what you think of it. Do I do the scripting myself? Yes, I'm pretty much a one-man band at the moment. Scripts probably take the longest period of time. They take about a day or two to do. I usually leave it a day to marinate and then come back and add a few more niche kind of jokes in there. Then do the recordings on Saturday and then start the editing Saturday evening and then all through Sunday. Editing is also a bit of a beast. Usually takes about 15 hours, which is why some uploads have been on Mondays, although I'm going to try and get it more for Sunday evenings from now on. And to be fair, I think I'm going to move to uploading every 2 weeks because at the moment I've got no time to take a shit or be with my family. So I'm having to do both of those two things together, which makes family meals a little bit awkward. My favorite comedians are Louis C.K., George Carlin, and Chappelle, but old school Chappelle. All right, on some weird questions for you. This should be interesting. So you're on a boat and after 3 days of conversation, you have to eat the other person on the boat. Who would it be? Vicari giving some Hannibal vibes here. I think I'm going to go for Brendan Fraser. Seems like a super cool dude to have like a near-death experience with. I think he'll have some super cool stories. I also feel like he'd be so nice and he'd probably just like volunteer to be eaten and probably just like season himself as well. Also, not going to lie, this would probably a tactical choice for survival. I mean, you're not going to go and choose Mahatma Gandhi, are you? Probably got enough meat on him as a KFC 2-piece meal. You'd probably be like, that's finger licking good, but I think we're going to die in 2 days. That's not good. My boy Brendan will feed us for some time and we'll probably toast to him and say, hey, look, how good was the mummy? This boy was something, wasn't he? Worst gift I've had, chlamydia. It was actually Christmas as well, from a family member. So yeah, they were not on my Christmas list next year. So yeah, very awkward for the next few Christmases. Have any of your relatives or friends died in a funny way? One of mine did, and it's still funny. No, I've not witnessed any funny deaths, but, well, you had my curiosity and now you have my attention. Also, the FBI man who's listening is probably a little bit intrigued too. M27 says, if someone farted and no one heard it, did someone fart? Actually, this is an incredibly philosophical question. And factually speaking, if someone farts, even if no one hears it, there will always be the queen, you know, the what's her face who smelt it, the one who went to the Joey Tribbiani school of acting. She's the world champion of the best resting fart smelling face. I would say she always smells it even if no one hears it, and therefore to this answer I would say confidently yes. Finally, Silver says, do you like pineapple on your pizza? The age-old question. This is going to divide us as a community. I am so sorry for this, but I would rather eat shit like actual human excrement in or around my pizza than actually have pineapple on it. There are no two words in the human English dictionary that are worse than pineapple and pizza together. If the Rings of Power was a pizza topping, it would obviously be pineapple pizza. And you know what the best part is? I've actually never tried it, and I hold such damn strong opinions that are just like unshakable. Aren't we humans such funny creatures, so opinionated on shit sometimes we know nothing about? Who knows? It may just actually be the best damn thing I've ever tried. So yeah, what do you guys think? Is pineapple pizza any good? Is it blasphemy? Is it the equivalent of the Rings of Power? Or am I being harsh on pineapple pizzas? And so I want to say a huge thank you to you. Yes, you still here listening and watching this. You've probably watched all the other videos too. It's honestly humbling to see that some of my content has actually made some of you smile and maybe have a better day. And before I vomit from my own levels of cheesiness, I'm a head out. Peace out. Have a wonderful day and thank you.